We may recall that many foreigners such as A.O. Hume had played a pivotal role in our freedom movement in the early stages. Dr. Annie Besant played a similar role in the early part of the 20th century. Besant was Irish by birth and had been active in the Irish Home, Fabian Socialist and birth control movement in Britain. She joined the Theosophical Society and came to India in 1893. She founded the Central Hindu College in Benares, later upgraded as Benares Hindu University by Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya in 1916. With the death of H.S. Alcott in 1907, Besant succeeded him as the international president of the Theosophical Society. She was actively spreading the theosophical ideas from its headquarters Adyar in Chennai. Gained the support of a number of educated followers such as John Adas, Dwarakadas, George Arundel, Shankarlal Bankar, Indulal Yagnik, C.P. Ramaswamy and B.P. Vadia. In 1914 was when British announced its entry in First World War. It was claimed that it was fighting for freedom and democracy. Indian believers believed and supported the British war, but for soon they were delusions. There was no change in the British attitude towards India. Moreover, split into moderate and extremist wings, the Indian National Congress was not strong enough to press for the further political reforms during self-rule. The Muslim League was looked upon suspiciously by the British once the Sultan of Turkey entered the war supporting the Central Powers. It was in this backdrop that Besant entered into Indian politics. She started the weekly The Commonweal in 1914. The weekly focused on religious liberty, national education, social and political reforms. She published a book, India, How India Wrought for Freedom, in 1915. In this book, she asserted that the beginnings of national consciousness are deeply embedded in its ancient past. She gave the call the moment of England's difficulties, the moment of India's opportunity, and wanted Indian leaders to press for reforms. She toured England and made many speeches in the cause of India's freedom. She also tried to form an Indian party in the parliament but was unsuccessful. Her visit, however, aroused sympathy for India. On her return, she started a daily newspaper, New India. On July 14, 1915, she revealed her concept of self-rule in a speech at Bombay. I mean by self-government that the country shall have a government by councils elected by the people and responsible to the House. She organized public meetings and conferences to spread the idea and demanded that India be granted self-government on the lines of the white colonies after the war. On September 28, 1915, Jefferson made a formal declaration that he would start the Home Rule League movement for India with objectives on the lines of the Irish Home Rule League. The moderates did not like the idea of establishing another separate organization. She too realized that the sanction of the Congress Party was necessary for her movement to be successful. In December 1915, due to the efforts of Tilak and Besant, the Bombay session of the Congress suitably altered the constitution of the Congress Party to admit the members from the extremist section. In the session, she insisted on the Congress taking up the Home Rule League program before September 1916, failing which she would organize the Home Rule League on her own. In 1916, two Home Rule League movements were launched in the country, one under Tilak and the other under Besant, with their spheres of activity well demarcated. The twin objectives of the Home Rule League were the establishment of Home Rule for India in British Empire and arousing in the Indian masses a sense of pride for the motherland. Tilak Home Rule League was set up at the Bombay Provincial Conference held at Belgaum in April 1916. Its league was to work in Maharashtra, including Bombay City, Karnataka, the Central Provinces, and Berar. Tilak's league was organized into 6 branches, and Annie Besant's league was the rest of the India. Tilak popularized the demand for home rule through his lectures. The popularity of his league was confined to Maharashtra and Karnataka, but claimed a membership of 14,000 in April 1917 and 32,000 by early 1918. On 23rd July 1916, on his 60th birthday, Tilak was arrested for propagating the idea of home rule. Besant's Home Rule League, finding no signs from the Congress, Besant herself inaugurated the Home Rule League at Madras in September 1916. Its branches were established at Kanpur, Allahabad, Benares, Mathura, Calicut, and Ahmednagar. She made an extensive tour and spread the idea of home rule. She declared that the Prince of India's loyalty is India's freedom. Moderate congressmen who were dissatisfied with the inactivity of the Congress joined the Home Rule League. The popularity of the League can be gauged from the fact that the Muhammad Ali Jinnah, B. Chakravarti, Jitendra Lal Banerjee, Satyamurthy and Khalik Zaman were taking up the membership of the League. As Besant's home rule movement became very popular in Madras, the government of Madras decided to suppress it. Students were barred from attending its meetings. In June 1917, Besant and their associates B.P. Wadia and George Arundel were entered into the government. The government's repression strengthened the supporters, and with renewed determination, they began to resist to support Besant. Sir S. Subramaniam renounced his knighthood. At the AACM meeting and a convent on 28 July 1917, Tilak advocated the use of civil obedience, disobedience if they were not released. Jamnadas, Dwarakadas and Shankarlal Bankar on the orders of Gandhi collected 1000 signatures willing to defy the internment orders and marched to Besant's place of detention. Due to the growing resistance, the internationalists were released on 20th August 1917. The new Secretary of State Montagu announced that the self-governing institutions and responsible government was the goal of the British rule in India. Almost overnight, this turned converted Besant into a near loyalist. In September 1917, when she was released, she was elected the President of Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress in 1917. The Home Rule Leagues prepared the ground for mass mobilization, paving the way for the launch of Gandhi Satyagraha movements. Many of the early Gandhian Satyagrahis had been the members of the Home Rule Leagues. They used the organizational networks created by leagues to strengthen the agrarian